This is a freshly cast iron manhole cover, one of the ubiquitous pavement facilities in cities. At the same time, it is also a weapon commonly used by many bad media on the internet to target regional black Hunan people. The birth of cast iron manhole covers began with the production of pouring sand molds. In front of this manhole cover factory, the workers poured molding sand onto the manhole cover model. After the molding sand is spread out and paved, cover with a metal grid, several centimeters high. Next, he needs to flip the grid and manhole cover model. Then cover the bottom of the model with another metal mesh. Then you can fill the mesh with molding sand. Wait until the grid is filled with molding sand. Workers also insert a round tube into it to make a pouring hole. After that, it can remove the excess molding sand. Then use a machine to completely compact the molding sand in the grid, so that the mold can be formed. Next, just remove the molding sand that exceeds the grid height. The molded lower mold can be taken out. In order to prevent molten iron from flowing out between the upper and lower molds during perfusion, workers also need to apply a circle of sealant to the periphery of the mold. After that, just cover the upper mold with the pouring hole on the lower mold. A sand mold that can cast the manhole cover is completed. Another important reason why manhole covers are usually made of cast iron is that the raw materials for castings are widely sourced. All kinds of recycled scrap metals and scraps from casting can be poured into the furnace to melt together. Wait until the metal in the furnace is completely melted into molten iron. Workers will scoop out a small amount of it. We analyze it with instruments. According to the analysis results, other pure metal powders are added to the furnace to adjust the composition of molten iron when the composition ratio of the molten iron meets the requirements. Smaller ladles can then be used to pour them into the sand mold through the pouring hole above the mold. Once the gap between the molds is filled with molten iron, full, workers will also insert a perforated iron sheet into the pouring hole to facilitate subsequent movement of the manhole cover. The next thing to do is to wait for the molten iron to cool slowly in the mold to form. Generally, after cooling for a few hours, workers can use a hammer to knock away the sand that is still sticking to it. At the same time, the useless shear parts on both sides of the manhole cover also need to be removed by workers with hammers. Only the round manhole cover itself remains. Next, workers will diagonally place these manhole covers on the supports. Then they are transferred to the sandblasting chamber for sand. This removes the small amount of sand still sticking to the manhole cover, and polish off the rough edges and oxide layer generated by pouring on the surface of the manhole cover. Prepare for subsequent surface treatments. After coming out of the sandblasting machine, workers will fix manhole covers to furniture. Then the surface is sanded with a grinding wheel. The purpose of this move is to smooth out the end face of the manhole cover. So after installation, the manhole cover will be on the same level as the base and the road surface, to be polished. You can dip the manhole cover into the paint pool. A thick coat of paint has been applied to its surface. The paint can not only improve the anti-rustability of cast iron manhole covers, it can also make the manhole cover look more beautiful. Next, just wait for the paint to dry thoroughly. A cast iron manhole cover is completed.